Hey, good for you, Kelly. Hey, everyone. it's, I don't know. I don't like to get too excited, but especially when it comes to politics, because, man, yeah, you can get disappointed real quick when you're talking about, the realm of politics, right? But today is a good day. Headline, National Post. Kelly McParland. It will be hard to oppose Bernier when most people agree with what he's saying. Oh, damn. I love it, sis. The thing about being a libertarian is all you have to do is get your message out there and present it to the people in the raw, pure as can be. And no matter how much the political propagandists or the narrative creators try to put forth a message, that's completely against it, once the people hear it, it's like, just like me back in the day with the Ron Paul moment, right? It's like once you hear truth, the reason and logic and things about personal liberty and individual liberty and personal responsibility and accountability and economic freedoms and social freedoms, once you hear all this stuff, it's like, yeah, you never want to go back and delve into the realm of statism, of central planning and control freaks and sociopaths. You never want to go there again. Trust me, I know this with firsthand information and real world experience. Let's head down to see what Kelly's got to say. The word on Maxime Bernier is that he's a radical. Ooh, a radical, right? He wants to do radical things. Canadians don't like radical things. They like things the way they are. Maybe a little better, but largely the same. Bernier, therefore, isn't the man the Conservatives should choose as their next leader because he's too much the iconoclast to get elected prime minister. That's the word anyway, right? From the word from the establishment type, the status quo, those who want to maintain their power and their positions of authority and ability to plunder the masses, right? Of course, they're like, no! All right? Oh, don't challenge us. Maybe the people who think Bernier is too far out for cautious Canadians should pause and think back a couple of years when young Justin Trudeau was considered too shallow and experienced to lead the Liberals to victory. Right? Right? Yeah, Canadians don't like an outsider, right? Well, apparently Trudeau brought the Liberals from third place, like have-nots, right? Way at the back of the bus to the front. Rob Ford, right? Oh, come on. Now, Canadians are more than willing to stand behind and support someone that cares about their personal freedoms and personal responsibility. Then we're a northern country, for Christ's sakes. To believe that Canadians don't believe in personal accountability and individual responsibility and economic freedoms and social freedoms, I mean, you're foolish if you don't believe that. Trust me, I'd say the overwhelming majority of the Canadian population are libertarians. They just don't know it yet. Maybe the people who think Bernier is too far out for cautious Canadians should pause and think back a couple of years when young Justin Trudeau was considered too shallow and experienced to lead the Liberals to victory. He said silly things. He was too much the pretty boy. He came across as far too lightweight to take on flinty-eyed, cool as ice Stephen Harper, even if people weren't wild about Harper. I mean, come on, Harper was like, what a fucking boring, uninspiring type of fucking piece of shit individual, authoritarian even, that guy was. Like, please, I don't even like the Conservatives to bring that name up because to me, yeah, he destroyed, well, like I say, I'm very much glad that the Conservatives realized and learned from their mistakes. Conservatives are much better at doing that, actually, than the Progressives. That's one thing I will give Conservatives is they learn much quicker. It turned out the word on Trudeau was wrong. He did indeed say silly things and demonstrated a certain lightness of character, but Canadians were willing to vote him in anyway. The promise he made evidently offset the doubts voters had enough for them to take a chance on the kid. Those who dismiss Bernier or worry that he lacks the judgment needed of a prime minister may be making the same mistake made about Trudeau. The basis of his alleged riskiness is his desire for change and the policies he proposed for bringing it about. Another word for change is reform. Let's not get into the reform bullshit. Bernier wants to introduce reforms that will lead to improvements in areas Canada unquestionably needs to improve. Another word for that is progress. Oh, no. No, it's not. No, it's not. Because then they're going to try to tie it into progressives, right? No. We can use different words. There's many synonyms that would be completely aligned with what we would consider as progress. We could call it advancement of the human intellect, right? Or evolution. That's another word we can use, right? Intellectual evolution. So no, we don't need to use the word progress, but that's something that's been put forward, presented by a lot of people, by a lot of collectivists in this country. So it's understandable that it's still front and center in the psyche of many of these opinion makers, right? Bernier could be termed as much a progressive as the self-satisfied left-wingers who have appropriated the label for themselves, perhaps more so. Well, that's the thing about being a libertarian. Because Bernier is a libertarian, basically what they're saying is not progressive, but yes, he's completely in line with social freedoms, but, and here's the big but, is with your social freedoms, you can have all your social freedoms. Libertarians are all about, you can have all your social freedoms, but you also have to give everyone else economic freedoms. And with economic freedoms means that you don't get to censor, plan, and dictate and control everyone else's life. So you have to deal with the consequences and ramifications of actual real freedom, right? Liberals, well, not genuine liberals, classical liberals would be mostly in line with libertarians, right? But progressives, they love the social freedoms. They love to have all the social freedoms. But economic freedoms means they have to be held to account and personally responsible and accountable for their economic decisions. That's the part where the progressives hate. They love freedoms as far as social freedoms, but they hate economic freedoms because that means they have to be held to account for their personal actions and their decisions, right? That's the thing with leftists. Now, conservatives, like I say, they're all about it's a flip-flop thing, right? That's the thing with politics. It's like one likes their social freedoms and one likes their economic freedoms, and it's like you got to choose one or the other. Libertarian says, nope, you don't have to pick either or. You can have both. That's what a libertarian's all about. It's like, nope, you can have social freedoms and economic freedoms. Now, the only caveat that comes with that is now you have to learn to be personally responsible and accountable. You get all the freedoms, just like if you were raised a kid. You can be completely free, like your mommy, daddy, we don't get to impose all of our shit on you, but the only way that happens is if you are perfectly capable of taking care of yourself socially and economically. That's how you get your freedom, is putting on your big boy or girl pants. Liberals, the modern liberals, the leftists, the collectivists, they don't like putting on their big boy pants. They want to pretend, well, I mean, if you buy their pants for them, they will. They don't want to have to go out and buy their own pants. That's the problem with the collectivists, the leftists, is they want to be able to choose, have the ability to choose whatever style of pants they wear, but they want you to pay for the pants. A libertarian says, okay, no, you can have wear whatever kind of pants you want, but you got to buy them yourself. You got to go out and actually work for them yourself, right? Like I say, once Canadians start to learn and realize what libertarianism is all about, of course they're going to be on board. Of course they are. It's scientific as far as the human endeavor, right? Just like if you were a parent trying to raise your kids. If you want to look at the perfect way to raise your kids, libertarian values and principles is, so just like with society, expand that out properly to society instead of your family. But if you want to raise good kids, you want to help them along the way, but they got to be personally responsible. You want to have good moral values and social values and freedoms and economic astuteness so they can take care of themselves. That's basically what someone like Bernier said. You all have to learn how to take care of yourself. Be personally responsible and accountable. No more cronyism. No more corporatism, right? No more lobbying governments for favors, So like I say, Bernier is the one guy in the political realm that I've seen in Canada that's saying, no, you got to put on your big boy and girl pants, Canada. Sorry, I'll help you as best I can, just like me. I'll help you as best I can. I don't want to throw you under the bus. I'll help you along the way. We'll make it as easy as possible for you to transverse from your infantile ways to be an adult. And trust me, we won't be cruel. We won't be vicious in our approach. We're not trying to attack you. We just want you to learn how to put on your big boy or girl pants. And that's what this is really all about. Now, I could read on the rest of this article, and in reality, I probably should have, because I'm sure there's some great stuff within it. But in this particular video, maybe I'll make a second video regarding this particular article. But in this first one, I just want to touch real quickly on the subject in the kind of matter that we're talking about, is libertarians, and what this whole article is probably trying to present is, libertarians are the future, okay? Because if you look out in the world that we live in, we've got a lot of stuff, all the stuff, right? There's all kinds of goodies out there for you, right? You no longer have to use the central planning model of forced wealth redistribution to benefit yourself in this modern world. You can be a live and let live person now even more properly than you could be, I think, in most times in history. Because the ability is there. The trick is to relieve the people's minds from the concept of believing these central planning authorities to be the ones that are wiser than the rest of us. That is the biggest difference, and that's what's the biggest impedance to genuine freedom and liberty, and not just in Canada, but in a lot of in the entire Western developed world, is people just have to catch up and be more mature in their approach and how things are done. Not just personally, not just as far as family and community, but in as far as governance goes, right? In the macro picture, is we just got to get, and it's not even really getting back to, it's actually advancing forward, because we've never reached this truly autonomous level of human individual freedom and liberty, where people are just held to personal accountability and responsibility, but they're also rewarded for any kind of work or hard work or endeavors that they undertake or achieve. This is the beautiful thing about the modern world that we live in, is you can have all the things that you enjoy without all the mysticism and bullshit that past eras had to fucking undergo or suffer under, right? Let's help advance the psyche of the general populace so they get on board and understand the kind of things that you and I already understand. Skinny Libertarian, and I love liberty.